negotiated the whole fight because it was the right opportunity for Katie Taylor. It was the right offer. And I want to thank DAZN for allowing us to have that sensible conversation to say, look, let's let her get the win here, and then we'll be back for a big fight. But at this point in her career, when we receive an offer like that, the right offer, we have to consider it. And Sean Palmer did a great job negotiating with Nikisa and MVP, and Brian Peter's done a great job. And it's just honesty to say, this is a good offer. We believe we can win the fight. Let's take it. I'm not involved from a promotional point of view. We'll be backing her 100%, and we expect to come through. It's nothing to do with the main event. It's just the opportunity for my fighter, someone that we care about a lot, someone that deserves everything from the sport of boxing. Financially, this was a big opportunity. We like the fight. She wants to be on the biggest fights out there. Simple as that.
The iconoclast himself, Mike Tyson, took to his own social media and stated, "We have the biggest female boxing event ever on our card. I have always advocated for female boxers getting more recognition and getting paid bigger purses. So, for the Taylor versus Serrano II fight to be on our fight card is historic."
What is the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight
Set to go down on Netflix. We know that Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano is a main event unto itself. We know that it is more than main event worthy.
We saw the first one.
But there is an added advantage to the rematch happening on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. You think about the platform, Netflix.
It's a big platform.
Bigger than DAZN that aired the first fight. Netflix is many times a bigger platform than DAZN is. The casual appeal of a social media influencer in Jake Paul, an iconoclast in Mike Tyson, one of the most recognizable athletes of any sport anywhere around the world, their casual appeal, and the hardcore appeal of the hardcore boxing fan that saw the first fight, loved it, and would like to see a rematch, and that this is not a pay-per-view.
That's the game changer.
The stroke of genius, which I talked about 2 weeks ago when I first broached this subject. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson not being a pay-per-view, being readily available to all those millions and millions of Netflix subscribers is going to draw that many more eyes to it.
And to this fight.
Because it's accessible to all of those 200 million Netflix subscribers to tune into at no additional charge. They're getting this as part of their existing subscription.
It's genius.
And now that the proverbial cat is out of the proverbial bag, Amanda Serrano herself reacted to the news by saying, "Finally, I promised my fans this rematch, and I wanted it to be for 12 3-minute rounds. But Katie wanted 10 twos, and she's the champ, so that is what we will do. I believe I won our first fight, but I didn't get the decision. This time, I'm not leaving it to the judges. No more sweet Serrano. War mentality activated. Thank you, Jordan, Nikisa Badarian, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and Netflix for making the biggest women's boxing event ever."
My thoughts.
For Eddie Hearn to allow his star fighter, Katie Taylor, one of the biggest names on the DAZN platform, to go to another platform to box under another banner, even if it's just for one fight, it must have costed Netflix a pretty penny. And you heard what he said more than once. It was the right offer.
Just another way of saying it was a big offer. Too big to turn down.
Big enough to get Katie to cross over from DAZN over to Netflix, from Matchroom over to MVP, to run it back with Amanda Serrano, which was the original plan anyway.
Remember, they already made the rematch, but Amanda got injured. She had to pull out. Katie ended up fighting Chantel 2 times.
Right.
Here we are.
I wouldn't be surprised if Katie and Amanda are making the same or more money for this rematch than they made in the first fight, with the difference being that this isn't the main event. They're getting main event money for what isn't a main event.
The burden isn't on them to sell the show.
But they're getting paid like it is, thereby accenting both Netflix and MVP's commitment to add this fight to the show, make it happen, and pay the fighters, pay them well.
Jake Paul's contribution to the sport. When Jake first delved into the world of boxing, not everybody was happy about it.
Though over time, he has proven himself a powerful ally to the world of boxing in his own way.
I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
To try and help elevate the sport of women's boxing, and more specifically, to try to elevate Amanda Serrano to a more deserving position, because she's one of the most accomplished fighters the sport has ever seen, but for a very long time, she wasn't paid like it. Now, she's selling out shows, making very good money. She's got plenty of sponsors up the wazoo.
Like I said, he's proven to be a powerful ally.
This is not a Matchroom show. That needs to be understood. It may be for Katie Taylor's undisputed crown at 140, it may be at 140, and it may be for 10 twos instead of 12 threes, but this is not a Matchroom show.
Amanda Serrano's the house fighter now.
And Amanda feels that she did enough in the first one, that she should have won the first fight, but she wasn't given the decision. Now what she wants to do is take it out of the judge's hands. But I'll tell you what.
What?
It's been 2 years since their initial meeting. It's been 2 years since the first fight, and Katie Taylor is older now.
Katie's been through wars.
No, yeah, she had a war with Amanda Serrano, then she had 2 more wars with Chantel Cameron. Now she's gearing up for another one with Amanda.
And Amanda's looking for the knockout.
I love them both, but this time, I have to give the edge to Amanda Serrano. Amanda might win this thing, and if she does, this could turn into a trilogy.
We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches.
In men's super lightweight news ahead of this weekend's fight, Oscar De La Hoya said A-Side Garcia is already a top 3 pay-per-view draw and gatekeeper to big fights, and I wouldn't jump to that conclusion.
No.
I wouldn't jump to that conclusion just yet based on how one pay-per-view performed.
He's only been on pay-per-view once, and that was with Gervonta. And that fight was built up. It was built up over time.
After a bounce-back knockout win against Oscar Duarte in December on DAZN's regular monthly subscription tier, Garcia is back in the pay-per-view saddle. I do not doubt that this fight will sell extremely well. Ryan is a top 3 pay-per-view draw, De La Hoya told Boxing Scene. Whether you like Ryan or not, whether he wins or loses, he's always going to be the A-side because he sells. I love the confidence Ryan has in himself. It's music to my ears when a fighter says they want to fight the best and they mean it. That's what a fighter should be.
Yeah, but a fighter has to win.
To maintain that status as a pay-per-view draw and a marquee attraction, the fighter has to win. It's not enough for the fighter to have a couple of social media followers, to hold spaces on Twitter and be on Instagram.
You do have to win.
And a lot of people don't think Ryan is going to this weekend. He's a top 3 pay-per-view draw based on how one pay-per-view with Gervonta Davis performed, and it was a pay-per-view that was built up over time.
They marinated that fight for years.
Unlike the erratic behavior we've seen in the build-up of this one that had a lot of people wondering whether or not this fight was going to happen, Oscar said, "The fight was never in jeopardy of cancellation, in my eyes. Finally, Garcia have a good direct communication, which makes life easier for everybody. I like Ryan as a person. He's a good guy. It's just saying in communication and getting things done. Whatever we see on social media is one thing. Whatever they're doing in the gym is another. All I can tell you is that they're in the best shape of their lives. I believe them. It means that Garcia's trainer, Derek James, is doing something right. I think they got the kinks out of the way in their first fight against Oscar Duarte. Now, we're going to probably see a Garcia that we have probably never seen before. I think he's going to be a complete fighter. I think he's going to surprise us. We're going to see a Ryan who is 100% in the ring. That's what Oscar thinks. What I think is he's got a job to do, a fight to sell.
That's what he's doing.
He's selling the fight. It's a little bit hard for me to believe that after just 2 fights with Derek James, all of a sudden Ryan is going to become a completely different fighter, especially based on how he looked in his last fight.
But he's welcome to surprise me.
I've always said Devin Haney is the top dog. He's an amazing talent, said De La Hoya. Devin Haney is a fun fighter to watch. He put on a masterclass performance against Regis Prograis. Regardless of the result, De La Hoya is adamant that Garcia is destined to be starring as a dance partner against the top dogs. Ryan is always going to be in a very good position to fight the very best, De La Hoya said. There's a lot of great fights to be made, but one thing is for sure. Everybody is after Ryan. He's the ticket seller. He's the guy. He's the gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper is right.
If he loses another fight, if he loses on Saturday, it's not a victimless crime. His marquee value does take a hit. It's going to grow harder and harder to galvanize your supporters, what fans you have left, to rally around you and purchase your fights if every time you step up, you get shut down. Devin Haney says, "I want the world to see how great I am."
Is this the fight that communicates that the best? Is this the opponent?
I think his win over Regis Prograis is a more solid victory over a more solid and proven fighter than the fighter that he's about to fight, but that's just me. In the build-up to Haney versus Garcia, DAZN Boxing's YouTube channel has an online documentary series titled 40 Days. The third installment, Final Preparations and Social Media Controversy, saw Haney discussing his motivations ahead of traveling to New York from his camp in Las Vegas. This process is the reward to me, said Haney. I have been doing this for so long that it is second nature to me. Garcia has a more significant presence on the internet, and his online antics have become a major subplot of the fight. Garcia's active engagement with his followers on social media is making some question how serious he is, although Garcia insists that he is prepared.
Yeah, for all that disrespect. Watch. You can't stop it now. Yeah. He said, yeah, Miss Garcia, you can't stop it now. It got real. Yeah, it got real. It got real. It got real. Yeah, it got real. Yeah, it got real. You worse than that gonna happen to you on April 20th. Yeah, and Oscar can't save you. And Oscar can't save you. Worse than that. Yeah, you took it, and you're gonna eat a lot more before you. Hey, listen, you gonna hit that canvas, boy. Yeah. Yeah, you out of boxing.
I want the world to see how great I am, Haney said, to see that I am levels above a guy like Ryan Garcia, and that I am the best fighter in the world. This fight with this opponent doesn't really prove that.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
Garcia, who a year ago fought and was stopped by Gervonta Davis, creates plenty of buzz, positive and negative. Though Garcia's accolades might not equal his fame, this is a fight for Haney to gain more recognition and to build his own brand. Ryan is just another stepping stone, Haney said. If he wants me to hit him with my best, I will.
See if he does, and if he does, let's see what happens.
As stated, there are better fighters at 140 pounds than Ryan Garcia. I don't care about his social media following. I don't care about his popularity. In terms of fighting and fighters and who the best fighters are, Ryan
never proved he's one of the best guys at 140. Hell, he never proved he was one of the best guys at 135. The main reason both Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney were willing to fight this guy is because he's popular.
Thus, beating him hardly proves you're the best in show at 135 or the best in show at 140. Ryan has never been a champion in either of those divisions.
Those weights.
And it's questionable that he's even getting a world title shot, a world title opportunity, when you have lesser-known fighters like Ishmael Barroso, who's still waiting in the queue for his crack at the apple, his chance to fight for a title. In my eyes, Ishmael deserves a title shot more than Ryan. Ryan's only getting one because he's popular and beatable.
So how does beating him prove you're the best? It doesn't.
There are stronger examples already on Devin Haney's resume, more testaments to his eliticism than adding the name of Ryan Garcia to his CV. No, Ryan, and fighting him, it's a money play, an obvious money play. No more, no less. And I don't even blame him.
I get it.
But affording someone like this a world title opportunity comes with the added pressure to perform.
This guy doesn't actually deserve a title shot. It's your job to now go in there and show everybody why.
Finally, in men's super middleweight and light heavyweight news, WBA regular champion of Cuba, David Morrell says, I'm on my way to 175 to chase everyone that's scared of me because I'm not scared of anyone.
Why?
Because I'll kick everyone's ass. And he's talking about one guy in particular. He's talking about David Benavidez, who he, like David Morrell, is making a move from 168 up to 175. David Morrell is rumored to be sharing the ring with Hot Rod.
Hot what?
Kalajdzic. He's rumored to be sharing the ring with light heavyweight veteran Kalajdzic, who was in action not that long ago opposite the ring, a very faded and aged Sullivan Barrera, who I'm told that he stopped. He would be sharing the ring with yet another Cuban fighter if he does end up facing David Morrell at light heavyweight. David's not sticking around at 168. And it has to be because him and his team, his people, they don't think they're going to get a shot at a title at 168, so they're going to move up to 175.
For the winner of Better Beef versus Bivol?
No!
For a vacant title.
Same reason David Benavidez is set to go up there. It's not so they can pin down either Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev. It's because they figure depending on who wins, those titles may go vacant very soon.
If it's Artur.
If Artur Beterbiev emerges the victor in the undisputed light heavyweight title fight, he'll have no further reason to stick around 175 anymore, and who knows? He might move up to cruiserweight. We've heard him play with that idea over the years, that beyond his conquest at light heavyweight, he could move up to cruiser.
Vacate all the titles he wins?
At which point, David Benavidez can pick one up, David Morrell can pick one up. It would hit the reset button on the entire division and it would become an open book. That's if Artur Beterbiev wins. If he doesn't, if he loses.
Well, he might still move up.
But Dmitry Bivol, I don't think he would. I think he would stick around. I think he would stay at 175 because he neither has the physical dimensions to campaign as a cruiserweight or the punching power to campaign as a cruiserweight. The guys can get pretty big up there.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Dimitri's not that much bigger than Artur Beterbiev, and you think Artur would go to cruiser?
Yeah, but Artur's got that stopping power, that punching power, and I believe he used to campaign as a heavyweight or something like that in the amateurs. He could fill out as a cruiserweight, even though he's not that tall
Nope.
and he's not that long.
Nope.
He is a skilled operator, and he does have buckets of punching power, so he might do all right up there. I mean, if Zurdo Ramirez can beat Arsen Goulamarian for the WBA title,
Right.
a full-fledged cruiserweight, then surely Artur Beterbiev can do the same.
Or similar?
It all depends on whose title he's going for.
How'd we end up on Dimitri and Artur? I thought this was about David Morrell.
It is. I think David Morrell's people are guiding him to light heavyweight because they like Artur's chances. They think he's going to beat Dimitri, and when he does, after he becomes undisputed, he'll move up, he'll vacate, and they can pick up one of his titles. That's what I think the play is. That's the play for David Morrell. That's the play for David Benavidez.
A vacant title.
David's already a pretty strong puncher at 168 pounds. If you've seen him, he can box, he can punch, and he's young.
He doesn't have that many fights.
He could fill out at 175, and I think his power would carry.
They're saying he's staying at the PBC.
Well, that's unfortunate because I think his talent would be squandered staying over there given their limited resources and limited fight dates, but that's said to be the story.
We'll see if and when this fight materializes.